Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Monica, and today I'm filming this again. I actually just filmed like the first 10 minutes of this video before I realized my mic was not on. So we're trying this again. We are going to go through all of my current favorite makeup brushes, face brushes, and eyeshadow brushes. I will have timestamps down below for which section I am talking about, face brushes or eyeshadow brushes, and I will also have every single brush listed in the description box down below for you to copy and paste into Google or Sephora or Ulta or wherever you can get your brushes for you to pick them up as well. Let's start with face brushes, and in the order I would typically apply, makeup. I really like this primer brush. This is from the rose gold kind of travel brush set from Shop Miss A, and there's actually another brush that I have here from that same line. These are just the perfect size. I love the size of the actual handle and the ferrule. It's just perfect for my little hand. And what I really like about this paddle brush is that it's thicker, like it's wider than your typical paddle brush. Most paddle brushes are like this small and they're kind of annoying to use, but this one being so wide, it's just like perfect for applying primer. I use this for all primer except for putty primer, because putty primer I still just tend to apply with just my fingers. For foundation brushes, I have two also from Shop Miss A. Not all of these are from Shop Miss A, but a decent amount of them are actually from Shop Miss A. The first one is again from that same rose gold travel brush set, and I don't know what it is about like the size or shape of this foundation brush, but it works so well. There are actually several foundations I've used this with where I apply foundation. Typically when I apply foundation, I have to use a brush and then I have to go in with the sponge to smooth it out so I don't get those, brush lines. This one, I can actually use this to apply foundation as long as it's fully clean. I did not have time to clean these because I did just do my makeup. But as long as it's fully clean, I can apply foundation with this and it looks and sits really well on my face, which is shocking to me. I'm used to always having to use a sponge, but I don't get brush strokes with this. Like, it actually applies the foundation, it works it into my skin, and then like it's got a good finish. And I think it might be because of the size and because it's so small, you have to like work the foundation in a little bit more as opposed to like a bigger brush where you're kind of just patting it on. But really like this brush. It works so well, and I just love how it applies product and how great it is. And affordable. Both of these, I believe this full set, I will have the details of the set listed down below, but I think the set was around $10 and you got 10 brushes. And this is just two of the brushes from that set, and I now use them daily. All right, next we have a dupe for a Sigma brush that is from the AOA Studio, I guess their regular $1 brush line. And this is the AOA Studio High Def Brush F1. And this is a dupe for the Sigma Kabuki F80, the flat top Kabuki. I have to say, I have been very disappointed in newer Sigma brushes lately. Back a few years ago when I first bought Sigma Kabuki brushes and whatnot, they would last years before I saw any type of wear or tear on them. But when I bought another Sigma brush, I think it was a Kabuki in like late 2018, early 2019, I don't know what happened. Like, I think it was a month into getting it, the whole ferrule just like popped off. And I was like, what the hell? The bristles were coming out, the ferrule came off. I kind of, for a second, I thought I got like a counterfeit brush because I bought it through an Amazon storefront. But I contacted Sigma. They said it was their official Amazon store. So no, it was not a fake one. But after working with Sigma to get a replacement for the brush, because Sigma does have like the 2-year warranty on all of their brushes, it wasn't the best customer service because they basically lectured me about how I wash my brushes and said it was my fault. Basically, they said it was my fault because I wasn't washing my brushes correctly and that they were going to send me a new one, for, blah, blah, blah. But in actuality, I had dozens of other brushes that were not falling apart and I was washing them all the same. So anyway, they sent me a new one, and then that new brush is the one I have now, but it's been shedding bristles since I got it, which is very disappointing because back in the day, Sigma used to be the affordable alternative to MAC brushes. But if you look at it now, Sigma and MAC are like the same price. And the quality of Sigma brushes have just gone like worse and worse throughout the years, which is very disappointing because at one point in time, most of my brushes were from Sigma. Anyway, long story short, I have not been happy with the Sigma brushes, at least any newer ones that I've purchased. So I was looking for a dupe and I found this one from Shop Miss A, and it's literally the exact same brush, except the bristles aren't as bad and falling out, and it's a little lighter. It's not as heavy duty as a Sigma brush, but it washes just as well, it applies makeup just as well, and I happen to like this better. All the brushes we've talked about to this point are all from Shop Miss A. Not all of my brushes are from Shop Miss A, but a decent amount of them are because they're really great quality and they're really affordable. If you are interested in purchasing anything from Shop Miss A, I do have an affiliate link down below. It is my only affiliate link that I have with any brand just because I'm so passionate about Shop Miss A's commitment to affordability and their products. So if you're interested, I would appreciate it if you clicked that link. It would give me a commission on any purchase that you make through the website after you click that link. No, pressure. If you don't want to, you can always just go straight to the Shop Miss A website and copy and paste the brush names or the set names that way and pick them up. But anything you do purchase and I get through those affiliate links goes right back into the channel. All right, and I think we caught up to the point where I realized I did not have my mic on last time. So next we have some powder brushes, and these are actually both also from Shop Miss A. These are some newer favorites to my collection. I have some other big powder brushes that I also like from like Real Techniques, and there was a Too Faced one I think I might have just decluttered, but these work just as well and they're cheaper and they're really good quality. So this is the AOA Studio F12. It's a huge powder brush. I really like the shape of this because it really does press powder into my face really well. And then this is the AOA Studio F13. I think technically this is supposed to be a blush brush, but I use it just to wipe my bake from under my eyes and to powder like around my nose. I also really like this to touch up my powder. Like right now, I've been filming for quite a bit. If I were to go in with a powder, let's make it a powder and just kind of tap and do some touch-ups like this. The smaller brush just works so well for this because I can get right in between my eyebrows and everything, and now I am nice and touched up. So these are two brushes that I use daily. I've used them with all types of face powders and loose powders, and they just work really well. And I've had these for several months, and I've washed them multiple times, and I have not seen any bristles come out of these yet, and they're just really, I have to say, I'm shocked about the quality of like this standard brush line from Shop Miss A, because all these brushes are $1, and they're really great quality. And I'm comparing them to like MAC and Sigma brushes, so I really like these. All right, next in my routine, I would be doing contour. So this is a brush, I wouldn't really recommend it because I don't think you need to spend this much money on a contour brush, but this is what I have, and because I bought it, I still use it. This is the Nars Ita brush, and once upon a time back in beauty YouTube, this was like all the rage. Everyone was using this brush for their contour. Everyone had to get it. It's like a $60 brush. You do not need to spend this much money, but it is like the perfect size and shape for me to get like all I do is tap into my contour and go bloop, 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 and then I blend it out with a duo fiber brush, and then I have perfect contour. Do you need this? No. Like, you can get any kind of just like flat brush like this. I'm trying to figure out where to put it because everything I have is black right now. This is an all black brush, but you can find just about any kind of like flat brush that would work, or you could just go in honestly straight with a duo fiber brush. So I wouldn't really 100% recommend this unless you're looking for like a long-lasting skinny contour brush, because I have to admit, I've never seen bristles come out of this, and I really like the way the handle is put together so that there isn't really like a risk of like ruining a ferrule, because technically there isn't a ferrule. Yeah, but it's decent. I just don't know if it's worth how much it cost. Speaking of duo fiber brushes, so I actually have two duo fiber brushes that I use daily. This first one is from Luxie, and this is a 516 duo fiber powder brush. And this kind of small oval shape, I believe, is perfect for getting contour right here, because I like to apply contour with that skinny brush and then blend it out using this. And I also sometimes apply contour just right up here, kind of along, I've got like little divots in my hairline right here, so that's kind of where I put my contour, and I use this to blend it out. I just really like the size, the shape. I've never seen any, bristles come out of this brush. I've owned this for years. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm or a Try Beauty box. I forgot which one. So I've had it for years. It works really well, and I really like it. My other duo fiber brush, this one's actually from ColourPop. This is the F14 brush. I have to say, I don't like the white handle because A, the name kind of wears off easily, and B, it stains. You can see I've got like makeup stains all over this, and I think it's the only white brush, like not white bristled, but white handled brush that I have. I don't think that looks really nice. But I use this to blend out blush and bronzer and highlighter. That's the word. Blush, bronzer, highlighter. So after I do my contour, I then go in with my blush and my highlight. And after I use highlight, I like to go in and just blend it in with this brush. Honestly, the majority of like makeup tutorials and tips and tricks are all about blending. Make sure it's perfectly blended. And I just like to go in, it might be a little bit extra, but I'm a little bit extra, and blend it all together with this brush. And I like having slightly separate brushes for what I focus on contour, so you can see the bristles get a little bit dirtier. And I don't want to like muddy up my face, so I try to keep them a little bit separate, but it works really well. And I think this is the only ColourPop brush that I have, and it's lasted me a long time. It washes really well. I haven't seen any bristles come out of it. Again, the only downside is like that white handle. I'm not a fan of the white handle. All right, next, let's talk about my favorite bronzing brush. This is from Wet n Wild, and I think this was the Wet n Wild holiday brush collection from a year or two ago. I'm not sure if you can buy this brush by itself, but we are coming up on the holidays again, and I think that this set comes out every holiday season. I'll do some research and I'll put the name of the brush and some links down below, but this is just like the perfect size and shape. I used this to dupe a Morphe brush. It was one of the only Morphe brushes that I loved, but it came in like this perfect size and shape. It's got like a little bit of a flared bottom, but then it rounds up top, and it's the perfect size for my face. And I use this to just bronze right up here, sometimes along my forehead, and I like to sometimes take my bronzer, you know, down my jawline or down here, but it's the perfect size and shape. I really don't like the big fluffy bronzing brushes, but it's also because I have a small face and just I needed something more targeted. And it's rare to see kind of dense targeted bronzing brushes like this nowadays, because now they're all like big fluffy all over bronze brushes. I don't even think this is technically a bronzing brush. I think this is like a blush brush or a powder brush, so it's just what I use it for. I really like it. I love the shape and the like little divot here and just the whole packaging of this brush. I think it's really, really nice. And yeah. Next, we have my favorite blush brush. This is from AOA Studio, and this is the F20 brush. This is from their Dollar brush line. I think this is supposed to be a powder brush, like a face powder brush, but this for me is exactly what I was looking for blush. Again, I wanted something that was kind of dense, really targeted, but not too fluffy. I have another brush that I like using for blush. It's a little bit more fluffy, but like for everyday blush, this is what I'm using, just to kind of pat them on and blend it out. Last but not least, for face brushes, we have highlighters. So I have two of my favorite highlighting brushes here. I have to say, I'm still looking for a decent dupe of this one because I'm not the biggest fan. I just love the shape and the fluffiness of this brush. And this is the ABH highlighting brush. It is the perfect like shape. I love the way that it flares out and is kind of like a square or a squoval on one side. And it's fluffy and it's big. So you can see it's like thick in there and it's really, really fluffy and it's perfect for highlight. Downside, I don't like the actual construction of the brush itself. It feels very cheap, and it was not cheap from ABH. It was pretty expensive, and it sheds bristles all the damn time. There's just bristles everywhere. But I love the size and shape of this brush, so I need to find like a better dupe, and I've tried other dupes. I think ABH had a dupe for this brush, but it wasn't as not ABH. I think Shop Missy had a dupe for this brush, and I did not like it as much as this one. So to be quite frank, until I find a brush that works just as well, and I'm stuck with this one for now. For a more targeted highlight for something either I'm using with a loose highlight, or if I really want to get like a blinding like Cupid's bow highlight or right above the cheekbone, this is from Real Techniques, and this is the setting brush. So this is not a highlight brush, but I use it for highlight and it works perfectly, especially for like a little highlight on the tip of the nose. It works great if you're looking for like a really condensed, like bright highlight. And so I like to bring this in for like glamour looks, a bit more of like an in-your-face kind of look, or if I'm putting on highlighter for a photo, you really want it to pop, you can put a little bit like right up here and it would really make it pop just right there. So I don't use this every day, but when I'm going for an extra glam look, this is like the first thing I'm reaching for because I want that highlight to pop. All right, so those are all of my current favorite face brushes. Let's go ahead and move into eye brushes. Alright, time for my favorite eyeshadow brushes. Okay, starting off with my favorite brushes to apply cream shadow / primer, and then just setting powder, which you don't need a whole brush for that. But anyway, so this is I believe a natural hair brush, and this is from Royal and Langnickel, and this is the BOM 40 shader brush. And this is just the perfect size, the perfect shape for applying a cream shadow all over your lid. I like using this for any type of cream shadow, but specifically for the MAC Paint Pot, just to apply all over my lid as primer. I think it's just the natural hair, the bristles just pick up cream products really, really well. And I love this. I've had this for years at this point, washed it many, many times. I think I got this in like a BoxyCharm in a set of 2. I don't know if I have that other brush that came with it, but this one, it's been a long time favorite. All right, and then this brush, I actually got this brush in PR a little while ago, and this is from Alter Ego. I don't think there's a number on it, but it's like their big kind of shader brush. And this is just my favorite brush to apply either a color shade everywhere or just a light cream or skin tone shade all over to set my cream for my primer. Honestly, any kind of big fluffy brush could do, but I just really like the shape of this. It's like it's got a really nice, like slightly tapered, but like half moon kind of shape, and it just works really well to powder everything down. I use those 2 every day. All right, next let's get into some blending brushes. Let's do these 2 ones first. So this is another brush I actually got in PR. This is also from Alter Ego, and I believe this is their crease brush. So this is just like the perfect size and shape to get a nice shade all over the transition for me. And if I want to bring a deeper shade kind of into my faux crease right here, I kind of create my own crease since I have such hooded lids. This also works really well. I use this today to do the majority of the light orange on the outside of my look, and it just works really well. I've never seen this shed, which is surprising for me because I've had it for a few years now and I washed it quite a bit, but I like the construction of the brush. It feels really sturdy, it works really well, and it's perfect for my smaller eyes. Another blending brush that works really well for me, and I have to say I do struggle sometimes because like the big fluffy blending brushes that you see typically are just way too big for my eyes. I have generally small eyes, but then I've got really hooded lids. You can see like this is my actual like lid. If I completely relax, you barely see it. So it's hard to find brushes that are, you know, fluffy enough to blend, but not way too big to just get color everywhere, right? So that last Alter Ego brush works really well, and then this one works really well. I got this in a BoxyCharm a long time ago, but this is from Moda Pro, and this is the BMX 430 crease brush. And first off, I love the way that this is built. It's got a really nice ferrule. This is a nice textured handle, but it works really well. I really like it. And then the brush itself, the bristles itself, it is slightly tapered, almost kind of in like a rectangular, a squoval kind of shape, and it just works really well for building up color on the outer V here, but then also bringing in color all the way in without getting color kind of all over everywhere. I used this shade to actually bring in the deeper orange, as you see throughout kind of my faux crease and then out here on the outer V. I really like this brush. Again, I've had this for years. I've used it a bunch, and I actually want to go look at the Moda Pro website, see if this is still available, and if they have any other brushes. Because to be quite frank, I love this one and the way it's designed enough that I want to see if I can get any more brushes like this. Another fluffy blending brush that I really, really like that works well for my smaller eyes is from Luxie, and this is the Luxie 237. I can't read it. Yeah, just a 237 blending brush. Ooh, that's hard for me to read. But it's like this small but nice and fluffy brush. It works really well for getting color like right into your crease or your faux crease. Works really well for cut creases. And then you can also use it if you want a big fluffy brush to blend out your lower lash line. But this I really like for detailed work and for cut creases, and it just works really well, and it's very sturdy and strong, and I've never seen this lose bristles or fray at all. All right, so here we have the battle of MAC versus Sigma once more. So I have here the Sigma E25 blending brush, which was the brush all over YouTube back in old school YouTube. Everyone and their mother was using this brush. And then I have the brush this was originally supposed to dupe. So the Sigma E25 came out to dupe this MAC 217 brush. Now I have to say, after having both of these for years, I like the MAC better, and I'm going to tell you why. They're basically the same size and shape. But I have to say the bristles on the MAC over time slightly frayed out to just like a better shape for my eye shape. And I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's kind of like getting a good pair of shoes. Once you break in that good pair of shoes and like they're like molded to your feet and they feel really comfortable and they last forever, like not forever, but they last for a good long time. That's how the MAC brush feels. Like I broke the MAC brush in. I've had it for years. It's like 1 or 2 bristles have come off, but like that's literally it. And it just works really well. It's my favorite brush right now to use for color right out here. Now, the Sigma brush. It was the same size. Basically, the Sigma, I don't know if you can really see the difference here, but this is the Sigma brush and this is the MAC brush. Now they looked more like the Sigma brush when I first got them. I don't know if you can see kind of how the MAC has kind of frayed out a little bit, but like in a good way. Like that actually helps with the blending, and I like this a lot better. Whereas the Sigma, it's kind of stiff, and I don't like it for blending as much, surprisingly. So I will say I like having the Sigma E25 around. If I do have a separate color on my MAC and I can't color switch it out and I really need to like clean this before I can use another brush, it's useful to have this if I'm doing a more complicated look, or if I'm being lazy and I haven't had time to wash my brushes recently. But overall, I prefer the MAC. And I have to say, with Sigma and MAC prices being the same, I would actually like recommend and prefer the MAC 217. I will say not all MAC brushes are worth it. I've had a few other MAC brushes that ultimately they're just too pricey for what they are, but I do think the 217 is actually like worth the hype. Alrighty, so I've got my brow brush and then a couple of detailed brushes left. The brow brush, honestly, I was looking for dupes for this, but honestly, this is the best one that I found, and I use it every day. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush number 12, and it's the double-sided angled liner brush for brows, and then a spoolie. And this is just the like most dense and small angled like brow brush that I've found. I've tried a bunch of other angled liner brushes. I have a bunch of other angled liner brushes, but this is just like the perfect size and shape for brows, and it does not fray. I've had this one for well over a year now, and it doesn't really fray. If you look at it straight on, it looks really straight because it's so small and short that it keeps its shape really, really well, and it works really great for brow. I have to say, I don't do as much detailed brow work. Like, I kind of wish I could learn how to do like those really nice strokes to like make this look a little bit more fluffy. I don't do that, but I'm sure it would be really great for that. I just like to use it to get like a nice sharp outline and a tail, and it just works really well with I use a cream shadow for my brow, so it works really well with that cream shadow. So I've been trying to find dupes for this. Haven't found it yet. So far, this is my current everyday go-to. All right, these are my two favorite brushes for my lower lash line. I first like to go in with a flat liner brush to stamp a darker color on, and this is from the AOA Studio line. This is the E115, and it's just like the perfect flat liner for getting right in there. And I used this to stamp the darker orange along my lower lash line. And then to blend it out, I had this. This is actually a Morphe brush that for the life of me, I can't find a dupe of. If someone knows of a dupe for this brush, please help me, because it's like the perfect size and shape, and I, for the life of me, could not find one that works just as well. This is the Morphe M500. I believe this is the Morphe M506. I actually have the numbers rubbed off, so I'm going to double check and throw it up here just to correct me or confirm if I am correct. But this is the perfect small, but not too small, fluffy blending brush. And this is perfect for blending out my lower lash line. I think if you've seen any of my eyeshadow tutorials over the last couple of years, odds are you've seen me just do this with this brush because it's perfect. There are pencil brushes out there that are a little too stiff, that don't blend out as nicely, and then there are brushes that are a bit too big, a bit too fluffy, and then I end up getting color all the way down here. This is the perfect size, it's the perfect shape, it's just, and it literally just fits right here, and you can also use it for detail blending up here if you're doing cut creases or anything. It's just like the perfect brush, but I don't like Morphe, so I need to find a dupe for this. I have not found one. So if you know of any dupes for this is kind of a size and shape reference. It's very, very small, but still very, very fluffy. I don't really want to recommend you buy anything from Morphe because I don't like Morphe as a company, but I really like this for my lower lash line. All right, and last but not least, honestly, this is a brush that I never thought I would need until I got one, and then I really enjoyed using it every day. This is from Sigma. I don't have the number on here because it did rub off, but it's their inner corner highlighting brush. And it's just like a perfect little squoval, and literally you just go boop, 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 and you put inner corner highlight on. And I really like it. Before this, I was either using my own finger to put inner corner highlight on, or just like a small pencil brush with a little bit of highlighter. I've noticed I really, really like putting it on here. I can use it right here, and then I use it to put highlight all the way up in my brow bone. It's a little extra, but now I do use it every day. Whenever I wear inner corner highlight, I am putting it on with this brush, and I do like it. And there we have it. Those are all of my everyday favorite makeup brushes. I know it's a little bit extra, but I love makeup. I use these every day, and I'm glad that I've actually been able to get like a collection, a nice varied collection of brushes that I enjoy using daily. Let me know what brushes you use every day, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.